Well, it's my pleasure tonight to welcome a gentleman that a lot of you watch guys already know, and you new viewers are going to catch up. This is Rick Polina, of course, from the legendary Jean Marcel. Thank you for being here.
Nice. Thank you for inviting me.
You guys have had quite a history. For example, when I first came on board with you guys, you were working with Vincent Calabrese, without question one of the finest watchmakers in the world. So you bring quite a legacy, I think, to the table, like a luxury concept, handmade. What's your take now as we're moving into 2012 with a big, what you think was the real watch, the Power brand, the hand-built Swiss products moving to American television?
Thank you for asking the question, Tim. Jean Marcel is one of the few watch brands that you can get that is 100% pure Swiss. It's all handmade, hand-decorated. Every part of it is the finest quality that you can get. For example, pure Swiss sapphire top that's double anti-reflective coated, hand set case back with case back screws, and another Swiss sapphire case back so you can actually see inside. And all the hand decorating, engraving, perlage, including hand fire blued screws to help decorate.
Well, you've thrown out a lot of terms, and I want to come back and let's talk to some of the newer viewers just for a second. One of my favorite things that I know historically you guys do is real Guilloche dials. And I'd like to talk to that for a few seconds because for those of you who don't know, the vast majority of dials are not what's termed guilloche. They are done with a stamping technique, or they're using other techniques that mimic guilloche. And so I want to talk just for a few moments as to what is real guilloche, why it's important to watch.
Well, it's all part of making a personal statement with the watch that you choose to wear. And a hand guilloche dial simply means that it is Swiss hand labor that is hand engraving a pattern on the dial of your watch. And sometimes the pattern can be so intricate that not only is it, let's say, a sunburst ray engraving, it can be vertical pinstriping, it can be a center dial pattern, and then a second pattern around the perimeter of the dial. All very, very labor intense, done by the finest technicians in Switzerland.
And to the point, I mean, isn't this part of why people are spending to own a Jean Marcel, is that you guys are actually doing the hand-built excellence that, in my view, especially in Europe, is being increasingly lost in watches?
Yes, not only that, Tim, but it's getting harder and harder to actually deliver the level of product that we do deliver with Jean Marcel.
But what makes it harder? Are you up against like a price increases, so people push back? It's a price increase.
For example, in the last 4.5 months, the exchange rate from the euro, which is what we all send over to Europe to pay for everything, to the Swiss franc has increased 21%, which is an astonishing increase. And yet Jean Marcel remains as the #1 producer in the world of limited edition pure Swiss complications, and really the backbone of what we choose to call affordable luxury.
But doesn't that, do you consider that like a contradiction in terms of affordable luxury, or do you find that that's what makes Jean Marcel Jean Marcel?
That's part of our success. Honestly, it's part of our success, Tim, is that this is the highest quality hand-built pure Swiss at a price that people can afford, that they can get one of the finest in the world.
Well, we're pressed for time, so I'm going to interject and move beyond the physical dial. Can you talk a little bit to the complications that are built into this model?
Sure. This is what normally you would think is a chronograph, which function it does have. However, it's special because it's a flyback chronograph. What that simply means is that while it's running and timing something, if you decide you want to time something else, on a normal chronograph you have to stop it, reset it back to 0, and then restart it from 0. Well, don't bother doing it, because the time it took to do that, whatever you wanted to time crossing the starting line, it's too late. On a flyback chrono, while it's running and timing, if you simply press one button, the 4 o'clock reset button, everything flies back to 0 and counts instantly from there. The second thing about this particular piece of which there are only 299 other watches called the Magnum Tonneau, this particular watch, which also means, Tim, that whoever has one, there are only 299 other people in the entire world that can own
Yes,
the
so
same
to
watch.
reiterate, you're saying that that's a world production, not a North American
Correct.
production. So-
Right, 299 people
So
in
that
the
would
entire
qualify,
world.
then I think officially, to call this rare is not misusing the term rare.
Actually, it's probably some of the rarest that you can get in a fine timepiece.
Now, you were about to talk to a second complication. What is that?
Yes, this particular Magnum Tonneau flyback crownie also has what's called a Grand Brichet calendar. Now, a normal calendar that everybody is used to is a single window that has a large wheel underneath that at midnight goes click, and there's your next day's number. On the Grand Brichet calendar, you actually have a highly structured little machine that has been built by hand, which has two separate windows. So, for example, if it's the first of the month, you're going to have a blank and then a 1. That will continue until the 9th of the month. At midnight, the left side will become a 1, the right will be a 0. That will repeat to the 20th, to the 30th, including the 31st, at which point at midnight you have a blank and a 1. So this is a handmade, complicated little machine within your watch.
And this is
Grand
also
Brichet
then
calendar.
this would be what they call an automatic reset. In other words, it doesn't go, once it reaches 31, it doesn't go 32, 33.
No, it does.
This goes all the way.
It cycles all the way back.
Because some of them do.
Right, cycles all the way back to 1. And the other thing that everybody should be aware of is the Milanese mesh bracelet, which is stainless steel hand woven in a Milanese mesh with a double butterfly deployant on the back, which also means, by the way, when you go to put it on, because it's a full locked circle, once it's on your wrist, when you go to close it, you cannot accidentally drop it because it can't fall off. And simply what you do is click one side, click the other, and it's all finished.
Is that good for you?